Hi, I'm Miss Eudora with the Arty Lab.
This is a painting by Georges Seurat, and he did this famous painting called A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of La Grande Jatte. Now, this is a massive painting, but most interestingly, it is a new way to paint based on putting little dots of paint next to each other. So then your eye goes to the painting and connects the colors in order to create this image. It's almost an optical illusion. I'm going to show you a close-up. Now you see the man's head and the close-up of the little dots that connect to make the image. Okay, items you'll need today: pencil with an eraser, paper, set of 24 markers or more, and a ruler. We're going to start by looking at a real lemon. So you can see the highlight where the light, we call it a catch light, where the light hits and reflects off the image. Okay, so we are doing pointillism, and we are using markers. The famous painter, Seurat, he did use paint, so I have these weird things called Venn diagrams. I just traced a circle twice and overlapped them. Reason, because I'm going to show you how to mix the dots and create the new color. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And we are doing a lemon today. Now, Seurat, he did not have a lemon in his famous painting, but I thought it would be pretty and something that was a little bit more, I don't know, simplistic. Here we go. So because of my marker set, I have, this is a set that was relatively inexpensive, and I just bought it on Amazon. And so it actually comes with numbers, so I know which color I used. Your set may not, but go ahead and pull out 2 shades of yellow. It really doesn't matter. I'm using 33 and I'm using 31 for my color set. So you can see this one's orange, more orange, is that how you say it? And this is more of a traditional yellow. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to see exactly. I'm trying to put the dots similarly on each side according to the ratio. Sounds kind of complex, but I could even count my dots if I was that person. But I'm just trying to evenly space them. It's not really a science. And I'm trying not to overlap too much with the dots. Now you can see the variation in color. Now I am going to count how many dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 with this color. Now I'm going to do 8 with this color. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hopefully you can see the variation now that I've created. If I want to make it more dramatic, I might add a few more of these. And then a few more of these. This is a good example too of just the ratio between color. And if you want to do an even ratio of color or more of one and less of the other, by doing the dots, the pointillism, you can kind of see and actually put it down to a science. I'm going to do something that might look a little bit more dramatic, and that is now using a lilac color and a violet. And that, I believe, is 87 and 52. 87, 52. Okay. These are the two. And once again, I'm using dots. And I'm going to speed these up. And I'm just trying to go around the circle, just showing this color alone when I just use dots to fill it in. Same with the other color. It's a violet. I'm trying not to go on top of another one because that would make it darker. Now, I'm going to intermingle them. To create a shade in between the two. All right, so depending on how many dots you put in a specific area is how dark or light it will be. And if you put more of one color than the next of dots, you're going to have less of this, obviously, and more of that. And it will look, and it will show visually. Okay, let's do this green right here. I've actually integrated a third color. I'm going to use, for my set, 67, 73, and let's see, what else did I use? Just going to use another green, 72. Okay, so I know by numbers, 72 and 73 are pretty darn close in color. That's why numbering rather than naming really helps when you're pulling colors. So I'm going to make this one just this regular pure green. I'm going to go around. Boop, 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 boop. All right, now I'm going with the next color. Significantly lighter. Boop, 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 boop. You don't have to make the sound, but it helps me. Okay, the tip already on this isn't that great. I could do the smaller end, which is nice, if I wanted to make ultra small dots, which if I wanted to torture myself, I could use, but I'm not. All right, now I'm going to integrate these two like we did before. I did about nine of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, might add a little bit more. Now I'm introducing a new color, which is another type of green. It was really similar in color. Okay, and now I could just do that with this color and this with that color. So hopefully in this image you can kind of tell that I've introduced that third color to create a more saturated color. All right, so now I have 2 more shades I'm going to create, or mix of colors, and that would be curved line going at an angle. Curved line going at an angle. It's not a deep curvature. And it has to be fairly light. Wondering why I'm having trouble with even a curved line. Hey. Anyways, I'm going to erase a little bit over it, just making it softer. Okay, that's one side. And now I'm just going to make a symbol. So basically, you're making kind of a football shape and another curved line to meet it. So I'm just sketching, meaning I'm just doing small little lines till I get the size and the thickness of the lemon that I want. And then I'm going to erase. So one end will be where the leaf and the stem will be. One area, the other end, will be the area that protrudes out at the tip. So this one, I'm just going to put a little bit of a curvy line, and that's the end where the stem is. Now I'm going to add a part to this. It's the knob at the end. Just a curved line that kind of protrudes out. And I have to decide how much it comes out and how pointy. Just keep looking at it until you get what you think looks like the end of your lemon. Now, you're not going to want your lemon way end up there because it needs to be at an angle from this to that. Wherever this is, you need to have somewhat of an angle. So I'm just going to kind of softly show you where that would be. And then how much bulbous do I want at the end? Bulbous is just where it looks projecting out curvature. Okay, so now I'm just going really lightly over it with my eraser, trying to create it where it's so soft that when I start putting my marker dots, you won't see the lines. But I can still see the vague outline. Now, I'm going to show you that the light is hitting it here. This means there will be a highlighted light area, and therefore there will be shade here. Stem and a little leaf eventually. Okay, I'm gonna push it up. All right, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Oh my gosh, sorry my voice is the way it is. I can use my reference. That's my reference, so I can use it. And I can use the one I made here too. They're both similar. Okay, so I'm going to use my reference to know where I'm going to put things. My lightest is here. It's going to be pure lemon yellow. I'm going to put my lemon yellow, which is number, I'm actually going to put my numbers on here. So I wrote my numbers. What number's on mine? If you don't know, then just put the name. If your markers have names, you might just put the initial of the name. You might put the whole name. Mine have numbers, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to use 32. 32 is my lemony color. And I'm going to put dots all in this area. I don't know if you can really see it, but that's okay. Trying not to overlap the dots. There you go. That should be my area where the light is reflecting off the lemon and creating a light area or a catch light. Now I'm going to want all my other areas obviously darker. So I'm going to start sprinkling outside of that light area with my lemon color. Sprinkling outside of that area. Now it starts obviously looking the same, but I'm going to take another darker yellow, which is 33, and I'm just going to add it to this outer area. So it's still yellow, it's just going to be a darker yellow. Just by experimenting, you'll be able to figure out, okay, what needs to be where, how saturated, meaning how many dots will I need. So you can see light, a little darker. And now I'm going to start adding this this yellow, and I'm going to start adding, I'm going to add, let's see, going to add a few more of these dots. Now notice I can add the dots and spread them apart and they look lighter. So I have lighter by using that. Now I'm going to use my lemon yellow and put dots all around. Boop, 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 boop. I'm trying not to press down hard. I'm trying to dab rather than kill the end of my nib or the tip. I'm sorry. Okay, but luckily you can't catch what I have, so that works out well. This area is going to start getting darker. Why? Because the light's coming here, it starts getting darker. So I'm going to start adding lemon yellow and this number 72 green. Okay, a little bit of green dabs here and there. I can always add more, but I just want to disperse it a little bit. If I add more dots, the greener it will look. Now I'm going to go to my brighter yellow after I add the lemon yellow. So I'm gradually adding some other colors and to give variation. And this one, 33, is more of an orangey color. And 31 is very orange. I'm going to start adding that around these green dots. Gives it a nice variation. I can spread out the dots, and so it doesn't look so orange. Obviously, the closer together, the more orange it looks. Now, I have an area that's going to be even darker because the end of the tip of it is going to be shaded, but it's also not as ripe. It looks greener. So I'm probably going to use 88, 67, and 73. So I'm going to use these colors. This is like a periwinkle blue. Okay, so this is kind of shadow. And this is a little bit of a ridge on the lemon. Now I'm going to add my lighter green. And now I'm going to add my darker green around this area. Now I'm going to add a tad bit of this color. This is 35. It's kind of like a darkish brown. And I'm going to use 23, which is gray. I think I need some yellow. I'm going to use this orange yellow, 31, just to kind of make sure it still looks like it's part of the lemon. If I want to, oh, that's the small end. I can add a little bit of this khaki color just to show that I'm at this end of the lemon. Now we're actually going to show some shading colors. We used this violet and the lilac. So I'm going to use my darker, which would be violet and lilac together. That would be closest area to and more saturated, meaning more dots. More dots. So I'm doubling up with both colors, and I'm using more dots closer together, even overlapping, to create the saturated look. And it looks darker. My dog is on my foot underneath here. Her name is Stella. I'm not sure where Mitzi is, but she's usually right behind or near. Okay, so I've got that. I think it looks a little too purple. I might add a little bit of gray. All right, so I have 3 colors I just used on this one. So now I'm going to start spreading it out and not use as many dots, but I'm using 2 colors, my violet and I'm going to use some of this periwinkle blue color. You can see it looks lighter. And then I'm going to start using just this color without alternating the 2. So I had 3 colors, 2 and 1. Now if I want, I can add little gray dots to create visual interest. They're usually those little indentations in the skin or peel of the lemon. They're not black. Now this tip area is going to be gray and brown, which would be these. And I'm gonna have a little tad of green on top of that. Now I can create the stem by just adding a little bit of green. Now adding brown and gray. This one's the khaki color brown. And this is my gray. Okay, so that's my stem. I'm actually going to use my pencil to create the leaf. It's one curved line, another curved line, and goes to meet each other at the tip. You can also have a curved line here for the center. All right, depending on how it's tilted, the leaf, one side's gonna be lighter than the other. I'm just gonna make this end part lighter. This will be darker and light. So there's actually 3 parts. This one's going to be the mid-range. I'm going to use a little bit of the lemon yellow. And then I can start using lighter greens if I want my area to be lighter leaf color. Where do I want my darker? You're probably like, wait a minute, why didn't she do the same all on one side and then the other side? Because light hits differently according to how the leaf is twisted or turned. So I'm trying to show that there's a curling up of the leaf and the light's kind of hitting it at a different angle. I'm going to add a little bit of brown for the center, as I did a darker green. And then I'm going to add a little bit of brown. Here I want it to be a little bit darker, like it's curving in some. And then here I want it to look like it's folding back. So this is just something you play with. Light variation. And it's just kind of going back to your reference, looking at your image, and also, hey, just play with it. Do I need any green? I'm gonna add a little bit. I don't know why. So here's the final product. I decided to try to do some shading underneath the leaf and just to create visual image. Here's one I did earlier, and I thought my lemon kind of looked more like a mango, but I like the background better. It's kind of a fun wallpaper and a tablecloth. So there's that. I'm just having fun. Thank you for watching the Artie Lab and doing Pointillism with me. Remember, let's make art history. And if you'd like to send in your artwork to my email address, I'll be sure to show it in my next video. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.